Hey everybody, it's Ian and Sekou from Big Rec. We're sitting here with our buddy Nick Raskulenix. We're going to go through some of the tunes and some of the layers that we put together on pages. Pages 1, anyway. Let's start with In Fairlight. 'Cause I'm fine, I'm rooted down. Those walls ain't coming down. This song didn't really start out as a song. It started out as I just sort of put a piece of music together, more as an experiment. So these two loops, can we hear those? There's loop 1, and then there's loop 2, which is the higher one. And then if you stop, the experiment was to have those two loops going the entire way through a piece of music, and then have the changes happen around it. You rise and fall, and they have to be sort of harmonically ambiguous, maybe, so that the chords around it can shape it. And then we, of course, added all kinds of guitars and other keyboards and basses and drums and the whole bit. And I sent it as a piece of music to the guys and to Nick. And Nick came back pretty quickly with that needs vocals. That's more than just that's not just a cinematic cool thing with some beeping and booping. You need to put some singing on that. And then that I think it came together pretty quickly with lyrics and vocals and stuff. And then there was some back and forth with how the arc of the song. And I remember having that conversation with you. It's like, well, we should focus on when we go to double time. So the last part of the last chorus. That's kind of the bullseye of this however many minute journey that starts with the little,
Yeah, it kind of starts real simple and builds and builds and builds to the payoff of the last chorus.
Yeah. We start with the two loops, and then we add a loop, loop number 1.
Here's loop number 1.
And
how did you make this loop?
I just built it, with a synth, and then just kind of chopped it to where I wanted it.
Was this the first loop of the?
That was what it started
part of the song.
Yeah,
this started the whole thing.
Yeah,
and then you added.
And then we added this one, which is in a different time signature. So they repeat at different points.
The way they line up at different points.
Yeah, they line up at different points.
The way they dance off each other.
Yeah,
I think is
gorgeous.
Yeah, and then we added some synth bass in there. Just keeping it with that sort of Peter Gabriel mid-'80s kind of aesthetic. And I added, I think, one of the first things I added was just a straight-up sort of David Gilmour picked guitar thing. Is that in there yet?
It's about to start, I think. Yeah, here it is.
Right there.
Oh no, this is a different David Gilmour guitar. Yeah, there's a picky guitar that's going on in there as well.
There's this one.
Let me hear
This is a string.
That's strings. Yeah, there's a lot of shit in here.
Look at the string parts.
Yeah. Yeah, the strings get tucked in the mix, and I think it's good that we have it tucked as well, because it's
and all that stops.
Unless you have real strings, it's tough to get it to sound authentic.
There's those.
Can we hear the tom toms?
Yep.
That's another thing that we cut those toms separately from the drum take. So yeah, these tom parts were cut. There they are. Obviously on their own. So that we could paste them over the drum performance. Like Sekou would be playing here or here, and then we have the concerts going on as well. And it's obviously a very familiar sound to people who remember.
It's kind of like that Phil Collins gated reverb, that classic
Miami Vice.
Gated reverb, it's gated, but
we call them action toms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's they're a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah, and those sound cool in context of the whole deal.
Yeah.
came up with this phrase, this pattern. I came up with something that was this, but then you kind of simplified it because mine was a little. You want something that was a bit manual.
Yeah, I think the idea became have that be like a sort of drum hook, so it could be its own identifiable. And usually for those kind of things, I think simpler is better.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's
sure.
one of my favorite things is just that noise. I can listen to concert toms, being compressed and chopped. It's one of my favorite noises.
And I think one of the cool thing about this intro too is the two different guitar parts that kind of come in, and after the loop is going and kind of droning and the tom parts, then we get.
Yeah, you're big on that one.
Yeah, it just sets the table. It's great.
Such a great part. And then the next.
Where's the picky line that I was looking for?
This guy, he comes in. Then we get this line, which is also a featured, kind of melodic counterpoint to the line that we just heard.
Yeah.
It is a totally different part, but it feels just like the same piece,
Like that.
Beer. Where's is it in there?
And then guitar-wise, the next guy that comes in is this.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And it just builds such a great. It adds such a great tension to the track.
Rising up. Back on the street. It dances off the synth loops as well.
Yeah.
But it also, one of those guitars is following the changes, and one of them's kind of staying a little more static.
I mean, with the thing.
Yeah.
It's just the way that those parts work together.
Yeah.
And then we've got the bass guitar punching through.
Yeah. With the octave on, Davey. And he's doubling the synth bass, so there's a lot of stuff on here. We haven't even really got to the chorus.
And again, we're still just building anticipation and building, what's going to happen still. Nobody knows what's going to happen yet still. And then we get.
Oh, I never noticed Dave's changing the rhythm there.
And over the top, that is the greatest guitar line of all time. And then our friends, the concert toms, are back. It just creates this whole moment.
Yeah.
Now this fill here is Ian's fill. So he programmed that when he sent me a demo. He programmed that fill, and it's a motherfucker. I had to sit for probably about 45 minutes just pick it apart and.
You think of the that part?
Yeah, it's all of it. It's all of it, man. But it's a great fill.
I think we should listen to said fill.
Let's listen to it. All this.
Badass.
Pretty good.
Badass.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, the drum groove.
Which we also cut down because it's a bit too many grace notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works with all the other shit going.
A bit.
This just trucks through.
Yeah.
And then, you and Dave. Like let's listen to this groove that the drums and the bass cut on the second verse.
Fuck yeah. Those monsters, these guys.
The thing about playing with Dave is when you're a drummer, you can feel when the other party, the other bass player wants to wants to find your pocket. He just kind of finds where I am and just kind of like parked. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Fucking great.
Building into the verses, we start to get into the chorus territory.
Yeah.
We start to add in. The loop is still going.
Yeah.
This is going the whole song.
Yeah, we
right?
chop it for I think where that drum fill is, we chop it for certain moments, and just because you don't notice it until you notice that it's coming back, you're like, oh, because it's been there the whole time.
It's kind of like the common thread vibe as a whole.
Yeah. It's the fabric.
The cool thing about that synth patch too is anything you play with it creates a new phrase, a new
because it's going to be in a different part,
Yeah,
a
I
different
love
place.
it.
That we added.
Oh, yeah, let's hear these tasty little.
Oh yeah.
Tasty licks in
Remember,
there.
that was an after the fact thing, and you were like, Ian, I think we need something there.
So these second verse lick guys are
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Just call and answer kind of things with the vocal, right?
Yeah. They're going to happen here.
Oof. The reason you played it that way was to leave. You played it in the space. You left space for it.
Yeah,
So-
we put them in the holes
Yeah.
in between the vocals.
Yeah.
So sonically, there wasn't anything too.
So it
crazy
introduces a new kind of element.
Just kind of Jeff Beck.
on it. Yeah, absolutely.
I love all the bendy that gets caught up in the delay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different elements happening in the chorus.
Here comes the bigs, though.
This is still going.
You hear them bigs.
Here come the big guitars.
Let's hear these bigs. They're quite big.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's a great noise. Yeah. And that's the first time we hear those bigs, right? Like that's the
we-
second half of the second chorus.
We
The
held
first
them off.
time you hear the big guys.
And there's a whole nother, guitar. So those are recurring now.
Yep. There they are again.
And then there's a whole nother guitar element that comes in the second half of the last chorus. I love this solo, how you just the licks are kind of dancing in the delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those holdover solos that was done in the demo phase, the pre-production phase. And because we printed it with the delay because it's just, it's one of those kind
I
of
just love
solos.
it,
Just
just
stay as it is, just keep it, it's
The
fine.
thing that I love about this solo is it just feels like you're not even thinking. You're just playing.
Yeah.
I imagine you going, okay, I think I've got to do a solo on this song. And you make a track and put it in record and grab the guitar and you fucking press record. And that's the first thing you play.
Yeah.
You're like
That's not far
putting
from it.
kind of
That's
putting a
not
delay
far
on
from it.
there, or maybe after the first couple.
Yeah, just
you're
kind of
whoa,
like
there's delay on there. Cool.
Huh. Two the string.
And that made you do it the way that you did.
Yeah. Oh, that's not far off of how it went down.
'Cause
And
it
then
really
I think I probably did that and then refined it and got it. Okay, well, if I'm going to be playing with that much delay, I got to keep it rhythmically pretty tight because
Yeah.
it'll get pretty fishy.
Well, and it rises perfectly with the track too. Like it really kicks in. And I think too, because I think we decided pretty early on that we were going to keep that solo.
Yeah.
And I think that almost kind of dictated in a way
What
how the
happened
last
underneath
chorus
it.
turned out. Because the way that solo goes into the last chorus almost had an effect on how we did that last chorus. You know
Sort
what
of
I mean?
launch. Yeah.
I'm not sure if that solo wasn't there that we would have done that last chorus the same way.
It's been there.
It might have just been another halftime type deal, you know?
Yeah.
It also reminds me, the first time I heard something like this was, I know this is a weird reference, but Prince, Never Take the Place of Your Man, that solo he does, where it's like a time delay thing, and this was the first time since then I've heard someone do a solo that was thinking about that space. So I'll play a phrase, and I have to leave a space, and that